This aligns perfectly for what the Phoenix Suns want to accomplish in the off season, as mock drafts are coming in left and right, and with new reports coming in, the Phoenix Suns are targeting a specific need. So why wouldn't they go out there and get it in the draft on a cheap value contract that can really stand out and help the likes of a player in Devin Booker? So in today's episode, we're going to be diving in and exploring one draft prospect that I think really steps out and stands out for the Phoenix Suns to really make an impact for this team right away at that position. We're going to be discussing all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel, letting me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I really do appreciate all the love you guys have been giving. So let us know your thoughts on this draft piece currently that the Suns could pursue, and what are your thoughts on if he was brought to this team. I'm going to have a lot more of these draft previews coming in as we get closer to the draft, so if there's anybody that you would like to see the Suns target or someone you would like me to break down, definitely leave them down below in the comment section as well, and I'll definitely get to it as fast as I can. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's explore this Phoenix Suns news update. And this would be very helpful for the Phoenix Suns team, in my personal opinion, if they went out and targeted this player. And I hope you guys liked what I did with the intro and the title, kind of making it a little funny and joking with the buzzword here. But in all actuality, this Phoenix Suns team is saying that they want to target a specific skill position. In our latest video, we talked about it, looking at some of those guys potentially via trade or free agency. But per HP Basketball, poor Matt Moore, we saw that the Suns will be targeting a center this off season, and that is one key piece that they want to address post losing DeAndre Ayton and not really having one since then, with guys like Jusuf Nurkic and Nick Richards not really fitting the bill or the need that the Suns were looking for at that position. So today we're going to explore who they could get potentially in the draft, and one of these pieces my guy John Voight, courtesy of Bright Side of the Sun, wrote a fantastic piece on. So we're going to dive in and explore what pick at pick 29 who the Suns could go with, and a big in Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. And if you guys want to get more draft coverage, definitely check out John over at Suns Jam and go read these articles in depth, because he does a fantastic job breaking down all of these individuals in their best actuality. But when looking at Ryan Kalkbrenner, we can see his vitals here at 7'1" and 257 pounds would be an incredible piece for the Phoenix Suns to bring in and add to that size. Now, Nick Richards is 7 foot, and if he is brought back on this team, that would still be viable, but having another 7-footer in Kalkbrenner would be key as well. The 23-year-old obviously has been at Creighton for a couple of seasons, and that makes him a little bit more viable for the Suns, as he could be an immediate impact right away. He spent those 5 years at Creighton, and in last year's season, he averaged 19.2 points, shooting 65% from the field, 34% from three, and 68% from the free throw, with 8.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 2.7 blocks. This guy is an absolute freak show down low in the paint as a defensive interior presence, and would be a fantastic rebounder as well, something the Suns definitely lacked when losing a player in Jusuf Nurkic, even though that was one of his only valuable qualities for this Phoenix Suns team. Now, if we want to look at some stuff that John has mentioned as well with a guy in Kalkbrenner, he's saying, looking at the roster, knowing the constraints of the free agent market, it feels like this is where Phoenix has to find that place of need of a center. Not on the open market, not in some blockbuster deal, but in the draft. And in our previous video, I discussed that a little bit as well. But he says the 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Kalkbrenner, isn't just a shot blocker, he's a disciplined, cerebral presence around the rim. He knows how to position his body and contest without fouling, all while anchoring a defensive scheme with the kind of consistency most teams spend years chasing. And if we want to look at this report from Mohammed NBA, Ryan Kalkbrenner was one of the most impactful prospects in this class that people are undervaluing. His exceptional rim protection, like John presented, with 2.7 blocks per game and a 7.3 block percentage, utilizes his 9.25-inch reach to disrupt any offense. Uber efficient interior scoring as well, like John mentioned, 78% from the field goal, while shooting connective upside. And we all know the Suns have wanted a big that can kind of move offensively, can be a solid shooter, and Kalkbrenner has the potential to do that as well. If you want to dive in and look at his offensive scheme from John, we can see offensively he offers intriguing versatility for his size. He's not a high volume shooter, but he is capable of stepping out and knocking down the occasional three, giving him the kind of stretch five potential that can unlock floor spacing in today's NBA. What makes Kalkbrenner especially valuable for Phoenix is what the roster has lacked for years: legitimate size and athleticism at the five. 5. He's a fluid lob threat who can finish through contact, run the floor in flashes, put the ball on the deck to create his own look, and how that translates against NBA length and pace remains to be unseen, but the foundation is there. The only weaknesses surrounding Kalkbrenner is his post game is a work in progress, even though he is fearlessness and how he approaches those touches, a willingness to fall forward that matters for the young big, and defensively, the learning curve will come in the pick and roll coverage, while reading angles and rotations is everything, but with a 7'6" wingspan, sharp instincts, and a proven defensive resume, he has the tools to absorb those lessons quickly and cover for his mistakes in the meantime. One other key thing that John doesn't mention here is Kalkbrenner once again having those vitals, and looking back at that, being 7'1" and 257 pounds is a little bit of a slower big, so going to have some trouble getting, not necessarily maybe up and down the court, but in fast transition paces, right? He's not going to fit in on a team like the Indiana Pacers that play at a fast pace because that's just not their play style. But with like a team like the Suns who play at a slower pace, like to get their plays adjusted, really get their offense in motion and in rotation, a guy like Kalkbrenner could be that easy, immediate impact. When you look at a guy like Nick Richards, who also makes around $5 million, you can bring like a guy like Kalkbrenner in and still keep a guy like Richards to still have that defensive flexibility of having that high-flying athletic lob threat, while Kalkbrenner can also present that as well, while also being a little bit better offensively. From someone who went to Seton Hall and has watched Big East play all throughout college these last couple seasons and even these last couple years, Creighton has been very, very solid these last couple of years, building off of some of these building blocks, and Kalkbrenner has been one of them that has absolutely transformed his game at Creighton, being that rim protector and rebounder. And I think he kind of fills in all those holes for the Phoenix Suns that they would desperately need from bringing in a guy like him. And the best part is when you look at some other people's breakdowns of Kalkbrenner, this is courtesy of the No Ceilings podcast. Ryan Kalkbrenner continues to gain favor with me as a not super exciting, but clearly rock solid prospect. He measured at 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan and a 9'4" standing reach. I've also had a soft spot for his big man safety valve jumper as he hits those shots during the shooting drills and has made 34% of his threes this last season. He's a great finisher, rim protector, and if the trailer 3 gets there, this would make him an ideal backup big man. His subpar rebounding and inconsistent passing gives me pause about slotting him too high, but it was a good week for the Creighton prospect. And I think the best part about this when we discuss him is how likely is it that he goes to Phoenix, because we all know the Suns have the 29th overall pick. Where is Kalkbrenner projected to land in the draft? Well, John, from looking at some mock drafts so far, sees him projected at 35, 34, 27, and 42. Now, Kalkbrenner, since the article has been written, a little over a week ago, maybe 10 days or so per now, he has risen up the rankings a little bit to potentially right around that 25 to, I would say, maybe 32, 33 pick range here. So early second day player, late first day player, but there are a lot of teams that are going to be valuing the center in comparison to the Suns that are picking around there. So Kalkbrenner could be gone, but there's also a lot of other valuable centers around that position this year. So maybe other teams take some other bigs and Kalkbrenner falls to the Suns into their lap and they're able to get this big here to kind of really come translate to the squad. Like I said, isn't the ideal top tier guy, but I think realistically when you put him in this roster as someone that could potentially be a solid backup big, and where the Suns have struck in gold late in the first round with guys like Ryan Dunn and Oster Ighodaro, a guy like Ryan Kalkbrenner would really solve the job and align everything perfectly, once again, like I said, for this Phoenix Suns team, getting them into that right direction. I know John mentioned that his pick and roll game isn't the best, but I think he could work pretty solid with Booker if he is able to get into that scheme. And once again, Devin Booker having two solid rolling bigs, ones that can be lob threats and be interior paint defenders, is what the Phoenix Suns desperately need for this Suns team, and getting a guy like Kalkbrenner who can continue to still grow, make an impact immediately at age 23 for the roster, but not only just that, can continue to maybe even trend upward, I think is a best case scenario for the Suns if he is available. So like I said, let me know your thoughts on Ryan Kalkbrenner down below in the comment section. Do you think he's a good fit for the Suns? Do you not think he's a good fit for the Suns? If you don't, who would you like to see the Phoenix Suns target? As like I said, I'm going to have a little bit more of these draft previews and talking about some of these prospects in these next couple of days here on Suns Digest. So with all the news revolving around this Suns team, if you want to stay up to date on that, let me know some prospects to dive into, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Go Phoenix Suns, and peace out, everyone.